make sure you keep reviewing over the map what we have done so far, and today we should finish up the rest of the map. The map is 44 points on the test. All right, so next, kind of somewhat in the middle, you're going to label the one on the west called Czechia, and the one on the east, Slovakia. Those two countries used to be one country called Czechoslovakia. Unlike a lot of other countries that violently split due to war, this one actually split peacefully in 1993 into the two countries known as Slovakia and the Czech Republic. And then in 2016, the Czech Republic changed its name to Czechia. All right, the next ones, they're all clustered together. In the far north, that small pink one is Slovenia. Then the light purple one is Croatia, and I think it looks like a C, so that's how I remember that is Croatia. Inside of the C, the green one is Bosnia-Herzegovina. Then to the east, the pink one is Serbia. And then there are two smaller ones at the southern portion, Montenegro on the west and Kosovo on the right. Unlike Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia had a war in early 1992, and it split into the countries of Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and then the rest of the territory was still called Yugoslavia. The war was really about cultural differences, religious differences. The leader of Yugoslavia at the time was Milosevic, and he kind of did exactly what happened in the Holocaust, except for he was targeting Muslims, not Jews, as in the Holocaust. That's when Waterloo got a lot of Bosnians immigrating into this area because, of course, they were fleeing from the war and being targeted due to their religion. In 2003, the remaining portion that was still called Yugoslavia, that smaller portion, was renamed to Serbia and Montenegro. 3 years later, they split into two independent countries, one called Montenegro and one called Serbia. And then 2 years after that, Kosovo split off the southern portion of Serbia, and Kosovo is the newest country in Europe. On a more positive note, something about this particular area, Serbia grows a third of the world's raspberries, and it's not a very large country, so that's fairly significant. All right, right dead center in the middle is Austria. Austria is well known for music. On the left is a picture of the Vienna Boys Choir. They travel all over the world and perform. People from all over the world come to the Vienna Opera House or other locations in Vienna to hear the Vienna Boys Choir. Off to the right is Mozart, of course, a famous classical musician that was born in Vienna, and people do a lot of impersonations and performances as Mozart. Right next to Austria, to the west, is Switzerland. Switzerland is well known for being neutral. In the World War II era, they chose not to take sides, and ever since then, they've kind of claimed this idea of being neutral. Geneva, Switzerland is actually a location of one of the United Nations, and a lot of world leaders go there if they're trying to negotiate different things as a neutral location instead of going to one or the other's locations. Switzerland also is, of course, well known for Swiss cheese, Swiss Army knives, and my all-time favorite, Swiss chocolate. Italy. Most people can recognize Italy in Europe. It's the boot. We will talk a lot about the history of Italy because our next unit will be on ancient Rome. But of course, places like the Colosseum, bottom left picture is Pompeii, the city that was covered in ash and debris from the Mount Vesuvius eruption. Tivoli fountains in the middle. Up at the top, it's of course a gondola ride on the Grand Canal in Venice. And then of course the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Pisa, Italy. Romania is off to the right, a fairly large country south of the Ukraine. Romania has its claim to fame for having Transylvania, which is home to Dracula. Now, Dracula is not a real person, of course. It was made up in Bram Stoker's story. However, it was based on Vlad the Impaler, which was a leader that had a nickname called Dracula. And he didn't suck the blood out of a lot of people, but obviously being an impaler, he would impale. That would be kind of his torture, and then leave them up for everybody to see. All right, to the west of Romania is Hungary. Make sure you don't spell it the same as if you are, your stomach is growling and you're hungry. The capital of Hungary is Budapest, and it is it used to be two cities. On the one side of the Danube River, it was the modern city of Pest, and on the other side of the river, it was the ancient portion of the city called Buda. Now, of course, it's one city. All right, the last two countries, North Macedonia and Greece. North Macedonia is, of course, well known for being the home of Alexander the Great, who ruled the largest empire as an individual, and he died a month before he turned 33. Macedonia changed its name in 2019 to North Macedonia because there is a province in Greece also called Macedonia, so it was obviously confusing. So there was a low turnout, but the people in Macedonia voted to change the name. In Greece, of course, we talked about ancient Greece in World Studies A. A lot of history there, of course, with the ancient Greeks, buildings like the Parthenon, etc., etc. But Greece is well known for its beautiful water, beautiful architecture, and mountainous terrain.